Ladies and gentlemen in Bachelor Nation, we have breaking news to bring to you today. My name is Dave Neal, stand-up comedian and host of Bachelor Nation News. After a several-month-long legal battle, charges against me for the count of harassment by one Jane Doe have been dismissed. That's right, folks. We are celebrating today here on February 8th, 2024 with fantastic news. We did it. I didn't just do it. My lawyer didn't just do it, although shout out to him. You guys did it. You sought truth. You sought justice. And now you can rest assured that this specific case has ended. I don't want to call it amicably, but it has ended with justice, which is thrown out before it went to the judge. Would a judge have ruled in my favor? You better damn well believe it. Did Jane Doe know that when she filed these charges? She seems pretty smart. You think she would know that. Am I taking a victory lap? Well, you could say in some ways she won. She basically made me have to spend a lot of money to defend myself. Because we know if I went into that court system without the proper legal help, I might have, not filed the right paper. Who the hell knows what can happen? You have to spend money to defend yourself. And sadly, even in what would be considered very small court, this court of harassment charges, I didn't want to take any chances. And I know you guys didn't want to either, as we were one of the only channels. I want to shout out Reality Steve for his continued coverage over the Jane Doe saga, which we're now calling a con committed against not just Clayton or Greg or Mike or Andrew or Matt or Sean or other victims that names aren't out there. But who else? Who else has had to deal with the law system punishing them for what? What are we all guilty of? Truthfully, what are we all guilty of? And while, yes, the case was dismissed, and while, yes, I will take a nice grand victory lap, the victory lap more so for you than for me, because I want my audience who has followed me every step of the way to know how important they are. Collectively, you all put a wall up to Jane Doe's bullshit. Each one of you, every single view, subscriber, Patreon member, private Venmo donation, GoFundMe, private moments of support, every single one of you, while one-on-one with Jane Doe would be a little bit of a scare because she knows her way around the legal system, but every single one of you provided an impenetrable wall that cut her off from her bullshit to the reality. And she tried to pass through that, and she got up to that wall. She saw how big and mighty our audience is, how compassionate. We showed her what love looks like, how strong the forces are from those that actually are fans of something versus those that root against something. Nothing is stronger than a fan of something. I'm not saying a fan of me, but how about a fan of basic decency, basic justice? You don't have to like me. Heck, you can give my podcast a bad review. Maybe I'll cry about it and make a video if I think it's stupid, but that's all on a level playing field. The things she has tried to do, manipulate truths into her favor, call the Federal Bureau of Investigation on me multiple times, create defamatory articles calling me the cyber bully when I've been nothing but kind. I won't change my tune with her. I won't change my tune. I think I've been kind. And if she thinks the overwhelming forces of people calling her out for her lies, for all the ways that she has manipulated others, tried to control them, tried to deceive, tried to make them go bankrupt, tried to take food off of their fucking tables. For all the instances where she did that, our audience, the collective good said, not today, Playboy. It ain't gonna fucking fly anymore. And all of you can just rest assured, you can smile, you can do the Irish jig, whatever the hell you need to do to take a moment, breathe, and feel good about this. Now, did I get an email last night from Jane Doe? Yes. After months of not hearing from her. And if she is listening, which we know she is, you better stop contacting me. I've already compiled all of the times I've told you to stop contacting me. We don't need to go out of our way because I've got things to do in my life to get the court system involved, to legally say, quit talking to me. I think you hear me loud and clear. So let's not do that ever again. That email went straight away. I'll show you guys right now. I mean, I couldn't have swiped that thing into the spam so fast. Look how fast I swiped this thing into the spam. It's gone. Bye. There it is, folks. You want to see that again? Oh, hey, what's that? Open my email. Gone. See you later. You can hang out with all of the other spam in the folder I'll never look at. That's where you belong. Now, will I continue to talk about this case? You better damn believe so. We are not going to ramp it up. We are not going to de-escalate our videos. This is exactly what we're going to do, which is continue to share the truth and the stories of the men and women. That's right, there are women who have fallen victim through their own kindness, generosity, and maybe naivete that they didn't think people could act this way. We've got small business owners, minority small business owners that have had to deal with her. We will share their story when the time is right. We've got the victims of personal, intimate, if you want to call it, coercion, contracts written up. Extortion can be a term used. We've got all of that. And let me tell you something now. The court system just doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with it all. But I do. I've got time. This is what we do. This is our job. And while she might complain, oh, Dave's just making money off of me, I remind her every video we make, every podcast we're on, an interview we do will really just strengthen that wall. It's a wall of truth. It's not a wall of defamation. It's not a wall of we're all out to get you. We continue to not say your name. We've done our best to protect you from your own bullshit, from your own, from the piles of shit you continue to dance in. You could have avoided all of this long ago, but certainly starting in October. I don't know if it was the timbre of my voice that showed weakness, but any amount of me communicating or attempting to treat you in the most humane possible way in this situation was preyed upon. It was preyed upon from all over the world. When I was on my beautiful baby moon with my pregnant wife, we hadn't announced yet, I get a cease and desist. From quite literally the most remote part of the world, I get a janky $10 cease and desist. You went online, you got a Monster Energy drink, you rode a little caffeine wave, and you got a lawyer who's probably passed the bar exam, I'm imagining, right? You found a lawyer. You got someone to say, my client is accusing you of this. And then they smacked their Photoshop, Microsoft Word 98 logo on front of it. And you tried to scare us. You said, oh, my current lawyer was too busy to fire the cease and desist. You've personally sent cease and desist to my peers, Liz Neptune. You've sent them to my peers, Law Talk with Mike, who laughed in your face at your attempts to tell a lawyer and to bully a lawyer into what your truth is. Well, what we've learned is that your truth is separate from a universal truth. And the one thing, in the one area where I feel restored after all of this, because I've had people say, Dave, this must have been a hell of a ride. And yes, there were times when you threatened self-harm and you had to have the FBI called on you. We shared that video yesterday because you said the acts of Dave Neal will leave blood on his hands if I do the worst thing that's possible that one could do to themselves. You used that on me. You've used it on people in your own family and friend circle. You've used it on ex-lovers that no longer want to date you. You've used it on guys that weren't even lovers that didn't want to date you. You used it on Andrew, Matt, Mike, Greg, Clayton, and others we don't want to mention for their own fear that they're going to have to deal with you. There are people that don't want their jobs messed with. They understand that a strongly worded email from you to the wrong people might be met with them not understanding the truth. As Clayton continues to go on podcasts that are getting hundreds of thousands of views, new people are coming out to say, that's a goddamn monster. That's a goddamn monster we're all dealing with. And not the type of monster that's big and scary with blood coming off of our teeth and I'm going to rip you to shreds. No, the worst kind of monster you can deal with in 2024. Someone who hides within the threads of the internet, hides like bed bugs, and just attacks the vendors, attacks the bosses, attacks the peers, tries to find other ways. There are people that are allegedly connected to one Jane Doe that don't even exist. We've got trolls coming out of different areas. We've got people. We've yet to determine who the hell Chase J. Jones is. We theorize it might be Jane Doe. Plenty of evidence going in that direction. So do I feel an ultimate victory today now that my case was dismissed? Well, not really. Now we can all celebrate, but just so you know, after signing the paperwork where we both agreed that, and again, the only stipulation, which I've been sort of, by a lot of people criticized for, the only stipulation in her dismissal, not a settlement, not me throwing any money at anything, her dismissing. She just said, I want you to make sure that you don't tell people to hurt me. And I continue to say, no physical violence, no emotional violence, no cyberbullying. Lay off her. You'll never be incited by me for any physical, emotional, psychological, or any other type of harm. Now, could she use that against me and say, well, this person I believe could have been Dave? She could have said that whether I signed the stipulation or not. So I know people say, well, now that you signed it, she could have done this. And again, please, I don't need any armchair lawyers here. I've already got enough legal fees. I don't need that. So just understand, regardless of whether I showed up to court or took the dismissal the day before, it's probably not going to be the end from her standpoint. From her standpoint, I don't know if there's some sort of getting off on this type of stuff, but she has to remember, my channel will continue to thrive throughout all of this. We will continue to share our truth. We will continue to build that brick wall. It's not to keep her out. It's just to say, if you want to come to the other side of this brick wall, this is where reality exists. We'll let you through the door. You don't have to bust through. We'll let you through the door, but you need to start speaking the truth. Okay? You need to stop being enabled by people. You need to stop hiding behind false accusations towards people and feeling scared at somebody because they might raise their voice on a YouTube channel. He's the worst. This is how we do. And throughout this whole process, we've built a lot of trust up with our audience that we're going to continue to tell the truth. Today is a victory lap, but it's not over. I will continue to have this conversation right now on patreon.com/Dave Neal. Again, thank you to everyone who has liked these videos, commented, shared it with a friend, followed on Instagram, whatever form of social currency you have given, or physical or transactional by Patreon or GoFundMe. Thank you all for that. This wouldn't have made it this far if I did not have an army of truth seekers. Now, she's worried about a Reddit army as if they are there to get her. But the army isn't there to get her. It's to elevate the truth. She might not be able to see that from where she stands deep down in the dark areas of false accusations, of pity, of lab-grown victimhood. She might not know what it feels like to be up in the clouds with all of the folks that have helped elevate this story, me and everyone else involved. Thank you guys all so much, okay? From the bottom of my heart, for all of your loyalty, your belief in truth, and your compassion every step of the way. I'll be on Patreon right after this.